Hello, everyone. Crikey, I'm just on the verge of 4, so I hope there weren't too many people waiting in the lobby, but I hope everyone's here and ready for the Sherlock Holmes quiz. Crikey, it's been a busy week. We've had some lovely weather, and then the weather's turned a bit sour. Let's hope that doesn't settle in for the weekend. Let's hope we've got a nice, bright, sunny weekend ahead of us. I have to confess, when it comes to Sherlock Holmes, I'm a real traditionalist. I'm kind of the books and the old movies. But my daughter, Alice, who just left KGS last year, is a real fan of the TV show. So we've come up with the quiz together, which means she can't take part in all of it. So we've got some kind of traditional elements and some modern elements. But there's lots of kind of Sherlock Holmes, bit for everybody. If you need any clues, hi Tess, love to see you, Tessa. If you need any clues, just use the comments. Hopefully this week the comments will keep running. So firstly, let me know if you're out there by dropping me a short hello. Obviously Sherlock Holmes has got some big fans, Tessa being amongst them, but there's others too. So Mr. Lavery on the chat on Twitter earlier on, looking forward to the quiz, or maybe he's just helping promote. But if he is there and you are a fan, Mr. Lavery, salute you. I say Tessa's been a big fan all week. There's others of you out there too. I can see the numbers climbing as I sit here wittering away, and I promise I'll get into the quiz soon. But whether you're out there as a team, as a family, as an individual, they've got some multiple choice, say some classic. No different setting. I don't know if you've spotted this all week. So upstairs, my usual setting, my usual den, and I've normally got some props around me. Now I say props. I don't have a pipe, and even if I did, it wouldn't be appropriate to use a pipe as a prop, the classic Sherlock Holmes pipe. I don't have a deerstalker hat. I do have lots of hats, but I rarely wear them because I look awful in them all. But, you know, I'm willing to try one if anybody wants to kind of send one my way, kind of post-lockdown. I don't really have too many. I could just wear a big coat and a scarf, but then I might look more like Doctor Who. In fact, somebody said this morning, they made a reference to Star Trek. Maybe they're trying to influence my next my next kind of theme. Hi Gemma, hi Johnny, good to see you all. So the crowd's in, we got the team set up. Just give it another few seconds before we launch the questions. So we've got general trivia, got literature, got movies, and then we got the TV series, the famous Sherlock. Wear one cap forwards and one cap backwards and look the part. This is a good idea, Tessa. I tell you what, if any of my family are watching this and they can go and grab a couple of baseball caps, then I will give that a go. So if you see that door fly open, and a member of my family scuttle in, probably by my youngest, and she'll probably crawl along the floor, but you'll be able to see it because she doesn't know the way I've propped the camera. But Farhan, lovely to see you. Good to see you. Good luck with the quiz. I don't know if it's your first time joining, but great to see you on the comments. So let's get going anyway. Let's get kick-started. And as ever, keep your own scores. You're only cheating yourselves, but I know you guys are very honest, actually. Last week's James Bond was the first week last week, 2 weeks ago, before term, everybody's saying, oh, you got 4 marks. Nelson's in the house. Nelson, hello, how are you? So, yeah, keep your own scores. We'll take them at the end of every round, and then we'll see you when we get to the end. I think I need to start sending out prizes. Maybe I've let those down who've won before, but I did a quiz last night, and I got 116. I can't tell you how many it was out of, but I got 116 and I won. And I was kind of just disappointed that there wasn't a prize. So let's see who wins today. And maybe I need to start thinking about some prizes for you guys, particularly for taking part, if nothing else. So here we go. Sherlock Holmes trivia. Now, if you've been watching the videos all week, you would have picked this up, I hope. What Guinness World Record does the character of Sherlock Holmes hold? Okay, the character. What Guinness World Record does the character of Sherlock Holmes hold? And if that's desperately difficult and it doesn't ring bells from what I said earlier in the week, just tell me you need a clue and I might be able to work something out for you. But equally, I don't want to give it away, right? Okay, question 2. Who has Arthur Conan Doyle said that the character of Sherlock Holmes was based on? Was it a chemistry professor called Michael Harrison? Was it an old teacher of his called Joseph Bell? Or was it a policeman, Maximilian Heller? So was it a chemist, Michael Harrison, a teacher, Joseph Bell, or a detective, Max Heller? Which one of those three was Sherlock Holmes based on, according to Conan Doyle? Question 3. When Sherlock Holmes retired, what did he retire to become? What did he go away and do? A violinist, a farmer, estate landowner, or a beekeeper? What does Sherlock Holmes go away and do? Violinist, farmer, kind of landowner, estate manager kind of role. When I say farmer, I always think that doesn't suit Sherlock Holmes, hence estate manager, landowner. Yeah, kind of, you know what I mean. Or a beekeeper. Question 4, and another multiple choice one, because it's one you need to have a reasonable stab at based on the dates I've been giving you. When was the Sherlock Holmes Society in London founded? Was it 1891, 1901, or 1934? 1891, 1901, or 1934? And thank you. I noticed I've got 13 people watching, 13 groups, and that's still growing. And I know some of you in kind of different things. So often by the time everyone's finished viewing the video, I notice sometimes it runs into the hundreds, which is fantastic. Lovely. But I've only had 2 likes. So that means that the rest of you are watching, but you're not liking it so far. I'll try harder. Or drop me a like, and then I know it's okay. Finally, and these have worked in reverse order in terms of difficulty this week. So finally, question 5. What's the name of the hat that Sherlock Holmes infamously wears? What's it called? What's the name of the hat? Okay. Anybody need any of those 5 repeated? Or have we got 5 out of 5, do we think? Okay, no repeats. Just in case, I don't want to kind of zip on and not come back, but I will do the next 5, and then we'll do the answers till 10, and that will give you a chance if there's a pause, if there's a lull. Alex, question 1 again, please. No problem, Alex. What Guinness World Record does the character of Sherlock Holmes hold? The character. And now I did say that I would give a clue to that if anybody wanted one, and everyone seemed fine with it. So you guys, I'm proud of you again. Your knowledge on these facts. By the way, as we go along, give me some clues for next week. I've still got I keep mentioning food and Lego in the background. Someone mentioned to me Star Trek this week. My problem with that is I'm not a big Trekkie. I would struggle. I'd have to kind of make it up as I went along. I'm really good on certain periods of Star Trek, but I'm terrible on others. And then you've got Star Wars, which of course drifts into Marvel and things like that. So any ideas, just put them in the chat, drop me a mail, any kind of theories of what we're going to do next week. Because Sherlock, of course, came out the Bond quiz. Sherlock got mentioned and loads of people went, oh, Star Wars, Johnny, I know it's your favourite, and I'd love to do it, but it's part of Marvel. But then again, it's only recently been part of Marvel. Tess mentioned food, but she's got Sherlock, so happy forever. Absolutely. Thank you, Tess. So let's go on to literature. Here we go. So question 6, or question 1 of section 2. You list them how you want. I trust you guys. What was the first Sherlock Holmes story? What's the name of the first Sherlock Holmes story? Now, I'm not telling you whether it's a short story or a novel. I'm just saying, what's the first story? Oh, Johnny, I mean Disney. Yeah, I don't mean Marvel. Absolutely. Marvel's part of Disney, and Star Wars is part of Disney. You're absolutely right. I don't mean that Star Wars is part of Marvel. Oh, you see, that's why I've got so many experts around me to kind of steer me back onto the path when I'm deviating. So what's the first Sherlock Holmes story? Question 7. Where was the first Sherlock Holmes story published? Was it in the Strand magazine, a very famous magazine at the time? Was it in the Hull Daily Mail, the Daily Mail for Hull? Or was it in the Beaton's Christmas Annual? The Strand, Hull Daily Mail, or Beaton's Christmas Annual? Question 8. In which story was Sherlock Holmes resurrected? We know there's a story when Sherlock Holmes, Reichenbach falls, Moriarty. But then such was the popular clamour amongst fans to bring him back that Arthur Conan Doyle, who tried to write some other things but not successfully, resurrected Sherlock Holmes in this story. Oh, I've got some options for you. Okay, right. I must have thought that was a hard question. So we know the final problem, we know what happens, okay? Rack and back forward, boom. Does he come back in The Hound of the Baskervilles, The Adventure of the Empty House, with one of his most famous villains, or adversaries, I should say, or The Sign of Four? So is it The Hound of the Baskervilles, The Adventure of the Empty House, or The Sign of Four? Question 9. How many Sherlock Holmes short stories did Conan Doyle write? So not including the 4 novels, Sign of Four, Valley of Fear, Hound of the Baskervilles, and Study in Scarlet. How many short stories were there? Is it 42, 50, or 56? 42, 50, or 56? And lastly, question 10, before we go back and give some answers. What was Professor Moriarty a professor of? Is it mathematics, or math, as they like to say today, with the American inflection and pronunciation, which is utterly wrong, so don't do that. Mathematics, history, or, like Holmes, chemistry. I say like Holmes. Holmes is a chemist, but he's not a professor of chemistry. But as we know, he is an honorary fellow of the Royal Society of Chemistry. So here we go. Answers. I'll run through them, and then you tell me how many you've got out of 10, please. And then we'll see. Actually, I might even keep a note because I'm sitting at my desk. I'm in a different place. I've got a different location. I've actually got pen and paper to hand. I might even keep a note, and then we can kind of see who wins. And then prizes, maybe. Who knows? What should the prizes be? Tell me what next week's theme is going to be. Tell me when I'm going wrong, and tell me what the prize should be. And drop me a like. There we go. So number 1, the Guinness World Record that the character of Sherlock Holmes holds is to be the most portrayed literary human character in film and television history. So anything along those lines, you'll know if you got it right. We know that there's 236 representations of Dracula, but he's non-human. There's 229. In fact, I think there's now, the record I was reading, but someone's told me since, they think there's over 250 now records of Sherlock Holmes represented in film and television. So he's the most represented human literary character in film and TV history. Jonathan thinks math is better than, oh really? For question 1, you put the highest IQ, does that count? Now that's not why he's in the Guinness World Record, but he does have the highest IQ, as we know, 190. So I'm going to give you a half for that, both of you, because the point is right, but it's not in the Guinness World Record, as far as I'm aware. And Alex put the most adaptations. I could go with that, Alex, because I think you're driving at the same thing. So I could go with that. So I'll leave it up to you. It's definitely not a 0. You can decide whether you think that's a half or a 1. I think you're on the right lines. And the high IQ, absolutely. Now, why is math better than math? Because it's mathematics. It's a plural. So when you shorten a plural, sure, it's math. So if I say, I'm trying to think of another example, but anything shortened, you wouldn't shorten it to a singular. Not for me, as a dark blue to argue with a light blue, but, depends where you put the comma, I suppose. There we go. It's not a plural compared to physics. Okay, I thought mathematics was a plural, the study of mathematics as in mathematical theories, plural. But if it's not a plural, then math is correct. But I hate to admit that the Americans get anything right. I mean, intellectually, obviously they get lots of things right. But yeah, well, maybe the light blues have it. I might have to concede on that one because I don't know enough about it. I had an assumption, and that assumption could prove to be incorrect. When you've eliminated all the impossible, no matter whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth, right? So there we go. We haven't got past question 1, have we? Sorry, everyone. Question 2. Joseph Bell, his former teacher, is who Sherlock Holmes is based on. So that's it. I think he was a science teacher, but a bit of misleading there. So it wasn't a chemist, it wasn't a detective, it was Joseph Bell, the teacher. Sherlock Holmes retired to be a beekeeper in the story Mr. Holmes, Ian McKellen. And that's kind of something that runs as a theme through his books. The Sherlock Holmes Society, 1934, so quite late. But after it all finished and people wanted how could they keep it going? And there's so many websites. In fact, Stephen Fry's a member of the society. I mentioned him a few times, and I've thought about joining. What would be the benefit? I guess because you're a fan, it's about showing support, isn't it? I support football clubs and cricket clubs and rugby clubs, so I do that with sport. Why not do it with literary fiction characters? There's no such thing as a mathematic. True. I might have to give up on that one. And 1934, and he wears a deerstalker hat. So the deerstalker is what we're after. Okay, so out of 5 so far. Don't tell me yet. I'll go through the next set, and then we'll mark you out of 10. Sherlock Holmes' first story is A Study in Scarlet. That's the first book, adapted, as we know, for TV into A Study in Pink. It was published, so question 6 is it was in the Beaton's Christmas Annual. And then that was 6. 7. Resurrected, Sherlock Holmes is resurrected in The Adventure of the Empty House. Great story, and great adversary in that. It's not Conan Moran, it's Conan Stark in that, I think. Where are we? 9. 56 short stories. So not 42, not 50, but 56. And Professor Moriarty is, this is why I dropped the argument with Johnny about the singular. Professor Moriarty is a professor of mathematics. There we go. Okay, so we've got the most played literary character, Joseph Bell, beekeeper, 1934, Study in Scarlet, Beaton's Christmas Annual, The Adventure of the Empty House, 56 short stories, and mathematics for Moriarty. How are we doing? What scores have we got? Scores on the doors, people. Have we got any 10 out of 10s? Any 9 out of 10s? Any 8 out of 10s? What am I thinking is a good score? I think 6. I'm seeing a 5.5. I'm seeing 7.5. That's a good score. I think 5.5, Nelson. That's probably that's probably the benchmark that people are looking to hit and exceed. Alex 4.5. Johnny 4.5. Gemma 4. Maybe I've overpitched it. I know this is Tess's specialist subject, and she's hit 7.5. Williams family have hit 6. That's kind. I expect people to be around 5, 6. So Tess, you're kind of like you're absolutely flying. 4s, 4.5. You're not out of it yet. It's all quite narrow. Any others coming through? This is looking good. I think there's a few shy people out there. I think there's a few shy ones who don't want to tell us their score. Maybe because they're thinking, right, if I say I've got 10 out of 10, they're going to think I'm boasting, and I'm not going to tell them I've got 1 out of 10 because they're going to think I'm an idiot. We won't think anything of you other than you're honest and engaging and part of the team, quiz team. So here we go. Question 11, movies. Which of these famous actors has not played Sherlock Holmes in a movie? Michael Caine, so Ian McKellen, Patrick Stewart. Now, I say Patrick Stewart, I pause there, because is he Sir Patrick Stewart? I saw a play with Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen together. Are they both knighted? I think he is. I think he might be. Got some noisy birds outside, by the way, if I get distracted. Go to this different location. All very noisy. So who is it? Who hasn't played him? Michael Caine, Sir Ian McKellen, or Sir Patrick Stewart? 12. A long-running film series that I've mentioned between 39 and 46 with Basil Rathbone. But how many films were there over that 7-year period? 6, 10, or 14? Basil Rathbone, Sherlock Holmes, 6 films, 10 films, or 14 films? A more recent adaptation, we see Robert Downey Jr. taking the leading role as Sherlock Holmes. Who's Watson? Is it Jude Law, John C. Reilly, or Ben Kingsley? Jude Law, John C. Reilly, or Ben Kingsley? Question 11, 12, 13, 14. I've got the numbers on it. It's terrible. I'll have to do that to me. Question 14. In that film with Robert Downey Jr., the new Sherlock Holmes, what was the sequel called? What was done? I've told you, I think, in my morning videos, there's going to be a third film with Robert Downey Jr. and his sidekick, whichever one of those three it is, in 2021. That's when they're planned for. Was the sequel to the first movie called Sherlock Holmes: The Final Problem, Sherlock Holmes: The Game of Shadows, or Sherlock Holmes: The Hound of the Baskervilles? And then 15. When was the first ever Sherlock Holmes movie adaptation? Was it 1899, 1900, or 1902? Now, what we're going to do is we're going to mark these 5 because the TV section's got, I think, 10 questions. And I've got to tell you, they're not easy. I even had to persuade my daughter, Alice, to put some multiple choice in there to give us something to work off, because I thought, well, I'm a fan. I know she's a fan. These are not easy. So let's take our marks out of 15 by giving you the answers. Anybody need anything from 11 to 15 repeated? Should we go for it? Should we go for the answers? Okay, here we go. So who hasn't played Sherlock Holmes? Patrick Stewart. So McKellen has. Michael Caine has in Without a Clue. McKellen in Mr. Holmes. So not... that's how I've said I'm not good with that. No, fair enough. Yeah. Quite right too. Get as much help as you can, Tessa. Get in your team. Here we go. So, yeah, Patrick Stewart, Basil Rathbone, 14 movies in 7 years. This is kind of during Second World War, so needed lots of movies to keep people entertained, keep spirits up, and of course, Sherlock Holmes is a great British kind of character. Was really kind of well thought of and regarded, and was really good. So, 39 to 46, 14 Basil Rathbone movies. Robert Downey Jr. as Sherlock Holmes was supported by Jude Law as his Watson. I'm not good with behind the scenes. Okay, good stuff. So yeah, Jude Law. The sequel was called Game of Shadows, and the first Sherlock Holmes movie was 1900. Okay, how many have we got? How are we doing at 15? Is Tessa still out in front? Here we go. Got Tess out in front. As Williams second. Then we got Nelson. Then we got Alex and Johnny, and then Gemma. That's that. So here you go. Tess has set the standard 10.5. Means she got 3 that round. 3 out of 5 that round. We're going for 9 from Ms. Williams, still in second place. Alex 5.5. Sorry, Alex. These are a bit tough, right? Feeling guilty now. Nelson shot up to 8.5. Nelson, you've shot into third place, as far as I can see. How are we doing, Gemma? I think that's the other person we're waiting for at the moment, out of those people that are. Johnny's up to 8.5. Good stuff. Gemma's up to 7. So here we go. So Tess is still leading. This could be your week, Tess. Then there's Williams. Then we've got Nelson and Johnny. Then we've got Gemma. And then we've got Alex. And of course, we've got all those people lurking in the background who don't want to say. Missing the Barkers this week. I wonder if they're there, or maybe they're going to watch it later and test themselves. And then they'll send through the score. I think they won. They were one of the teams that were joint up. Maybe in James Bond week, when they got a perfect score and didn't receive a prize, they thought, well, what's the point? So I hope we haven't put them off. But hopefully not. I'm sure we haven't. Here we go. TV series questions. These are tough. All right. So have a think about them. If you need any clues, let me know. And I've tried to give some multiple choice, and we'll see who's going to be the winner. Here we go. Out of Benedict Cumberbatch playing Sherlock Holmes and Martin Freeman playing John Watson, who did they cast first? 50-50, flip a coin. Who did they cast first? And this question is because once they decided who they were going to cast as this character, they then chose the other one. Okay, so out of Cumberbatch and Freeman, Holmes and Watson, who did they cast first? Some of you will be thinking, yeah, I know this. And some of you thinking, that was my reaction. My reaction was, here we go. I think you should know this one, particularly if you follow my vids during the week. What is the name of the cafe next to 221B Baker Street? What's the name of the cafe? And you can go and eat there. I've had breakfast there a few times. I've got a friend that comes down and he loves Sherlock Holmes. And he came into Euston Station and I took him around the corner and he was like, I recognize this. And we had a great breakfast in there. What's the name of the cafe? Question 3 in this section, this final section. So what are we up to? Question 15, 16, 17, 18. What is the name of the detective, the police detective that Sherlock Holmes and John Watson regularly work with? Now, I've got his first name here. You don't need that, okay? Bonus for his first name? Yeah, why not? Okay, so bonus for you get the first name. Now, this one, I had to put some multiple choice in because I can't believe anyone would know this without a bit of help. And Tessa and anyone else, if you did know it, and I've helped others out, then forgive me. What is the name of Sherlock's childhood best friend? Is it Victor Trevor, Victor William, or William Trevor? The name of Sherlock Holmes' childhood friend. Victor Trevor, Victor William, or William Trevor? I'd need reminding of what episode that was even in. Ready? Okay. When Sherlock and John have a game of Who Am I with post-it notes on their forehead, which famous pop star does John Watson have on his head? Is it Madonna, Beyonce, or Lady Gaga? Now, again, this is one that my daughter put, you're not going to give them a choice. Surely they know that. And I'm like, do you mind if I give them a choice? Because I think it might help them. So there we go. Is it Madonna, Beyonce, or Lady Gaga? I think having a choice helps, right? Now, this one, she wouldn't allow me to give you a choice, but you might deduct it from the scenario. What song is Moriarty listening to when he arrives at Sherringford Prison? That's the maximum security psychiatric prison out in the North Sea. That's irrelevant. But as he arrives, he's listening to something. Think about somebody going to prison, what song they might be listening to. Oh, OK Plays got 7.5. Score to come through. I'm not sure who OK Plays is, whether it's part of the KGS or somebody outside of KGS, which is wonderful. To have other people in. We say we're an international band. We sometimes have people coming in from the States. Well, we have got people coming in from the States, but also from Ollie Kemp. OK Play. Now I know who OK is. OK Play. Ollie, wonderful. I got very excited. I thought maybe someone from outside KGS was in, but Ollie, I know who you are. Don't worry about that. I know who you are. And I know we discussed the idea that food would be a good topic as well. But you've mentioned that. Tessa's mentioned that. Can we have a multiple choice on the prison song? I'm not sure I could make one up on the spot, Tessa, but what I'll say is this. Somebody who's in prison, what would they be wanting to do? And so therefore, what song might they sing that has those words? I'll put it another way. Here we go. This is better. What Queen song is playing? What is he listening to? What Queen song is he listening to? Alex knows. He says he's walking back. He knows this. He knows this. There we go. Okay. Finally, I'm not sure we got 10 in this section. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, for some reason, there's 7 questions in this section. Maybe Alice thought that was just enough. You got it without the Queen. Okay, good, excellent, brilliant. Okay. Which detective, and it's not one of the ones we've mentioned, was so convinced that Sherlock was still alive after the final problem that he even formed a club to come up with the theories of how he might still be alive. What's the name of the detective who's a friend of all the others, and he appears in the first episode, studying pink. Who's the guy that keeps alive that theory, the almost conspiracies of how and why and where Sherlock might be alive, where he's been spotted and all that kind of stuff. I think this is really tough, and there's no options here. Last question. It's in your hands. Anybody need any of those repeated? And please don't say all of them. But let me know if you really need a clue or if you need something repeated. Be very happy to. And I'm also still waiting on suggestions for next week. I was thinking travel, as in we're not getting out much. It might be really nice to look at favorite countries, cities, best films about places to go to. Marvel, have we done Marvel? We did Disney, didn't we? But we didn't do Marvel specifically. Alex can't remember his name, can't believe it. Put down something, Alex, and if you get close. I'm thinking about a good thing about places to go and celebrating diversity, culture, but togetherness, how close the world really is. I think there's so many problems going on at the moment. It might be really nice to concentrate on some positives that we can look forward to, and also about how many differences in the world, but how we all kind of are together as well. Doctor Who, Doctor Who's been mentioned. I'm okay on Doctor Who. I'm probably better on Doctor Who than I am on Star Trek. Can we do a lockdown or Corona themed? Cities in films? Yeah, I think cities, travel, countries. I think we could do something with that. I think there's enough in there, music and literature. But I think for a future week, sci-fi. I could probably blend sci-fi, Doctor Who, Star Trek. How would that be as a theme? Kind of British sci-fi classics. Although, no, Star Trek's an American classic, isn't it? Do you think about comedy? About classic comedy? But that's such a vast topic. Okay, and good, thank you. And Star Wars. Okay, so Ollie and Johnny, you're on the same wavelength there. So maybe Star Wars, Doctor Who, Star Trek. Sci-fi feels like a good topic. Feels like a really good topic. We can include all those guys. Here we go. So, answers. Who was cast first, Cumberbatch or Watson? It was Benedict Cumberbatch. And that's when they knew they got that tall, rangy, angular figure, slightly offhand. They needed a warmer, smaller, cuddlier kind of John Watson character, as ever. Watch James Bond now, but I'm still behind Star Wars and Doctor Who. It's getting embarrassing. Oh, sorry, Tessa. Got to go for it, right? I think this is coming on. Maybe next week's kind of travel, cities of it, and the week after that, sci-fi, Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who. I think I've got the next 2 weeks done now. I think this is good. This is looking really good. I like this. So Cumberbatch was cast first. The cafe is called Speedy's. Speedy's Cafe, which is brilliant. Love it. A nice place, and obviously ever so famous. Speaking of which, go to some of the cafes. If we get when lockdown's over, if you go to some of the cafes around Edinburgh, so many of them were featured in the Marvel movie, the Avengers movie that was up there. And they've all got little signs that say, this was where this window was smashed or where this person appeared, which is lovely. Do Lego. Oh, okay, so I got I think Lego as well. My thing about Lego is it might be slightly restricted. I might have to build some Lego as part of the deal. I think if I get something for Father's Day, who knows if I get a London bus or something, or if I buy myself some Lego, probably I'll just buy myself some Lego. I could do that as a build throughout the 5 days, and then the quiz could be, what is it? So Nelson's on the Lego, he loves it. So we've got Lego, travel, cities, places, sci-fi. I think we've got 3 weeks there, guys. 3 weeks, really well sorted, brilliant. Oh, you're amazing. Here we go. So Speedies. Who's the name of the detective that Sherlock and John regularly work with? Now it's Lestrade. We all know it's Inspector Lestrade. His first name is Greg. Or at least it is in the TV series. I'm not sure we ever know in the books, but in the TV series, which is what this section of the quiz is about, it is Greg. Alex knew it. There we go. So it's a bonus there for you, Alex. Well done. And anybody else that got it? Childhood friend. Childhood best friend. Now, William Trevor is, of course, an author, so it wasn't him. Victor William was a bit of a throwaway. because it is in fact Victor Trevor. Okay, I needed someone to tell me that. So, Victor Trevor, good stuff. When Sherlock and John have a game of Who Am I, the post-it note on John's forehead is Madonna. There we go. Was that option C? No, option C was Lady Gaga. In the Young Sherlock Holmes series, best friend is called Matthew Arnott, but that's a different author. It is, yeah, the Young Sherlock Holmes is written by somebody different. But Tess, good knowledge. Give yourself a half for that, I think. I mean, you're out front anyway, so maybe not. Let's see if you need it. Let's see if you need it. Because that is good knowledge, but that's not from the TV series. The TV series is Victor Trevor. And yeah, no for why? No. It was Beyonce or Lady Gaga on the options, I thought. Yeah, it was Madonna, Beyonce, Lady Gaga. Madonna was A, Beyonce B, Lady Gaga C, and the answer was Madonna A. Oh, you got Victor Trevor anyway. Oh my goodness, Tess, you didn't even need the bonus. I love this dialogue. It's one. You guys are very, very clever and very knowledgeable, and I'm glad we did Sherlock. It's a great choice. For the childhood friend, please, Ollie, what are we asking for? No for why? Oh, option C. I see. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So Victor Trevor was option A. So it's option A. Then it was Victor William. Then William Trevor. So it's Victor Trevor option A. Okay. As was Madonna option A. So I'm trying to throw you there. If you were guessing, you might not have guessed 2 A's in a row. Bit of Sherlock Holmesian reverse psychology. So has that cleared that up for you, Ollie? So it's Victor Trevor option A and Madonna option A. The song that Moriarty is listening to when he arrives at Sherringford Prison is I Want to Break Free by Queen. Hopefully everyone got that after all the clues. And the detective who was convinced that Sherlock was still alive, who we see in the first episode is dismissing Sherlock as an absolute charlatan, doesn't like him at all, doesn't like him interfering, getting involved, but by this stage, actually is willing him to be alive, so much so that he's kind of set up this society, this group, to come together to look at sightings and evidence of Sherlock being alive. Philip Anderson is the guy, Philip Anderson. And there we have it. So I think it's out of 22. I gave a bonus for Greg, so Gemma will remind me, I'm sure, that makes it out of 23. I think I offered some halves here and there, but I don't think there were any other bonuses. So scores on the doors out of 23 people. Who is our winner this week? How have you got on? Don't tell me if you don't want to, but equally let me know, because it's good to know what the whole range of scores was. It lets me know whether the quiz was pitched okay. I'm always wary of these things. Alex 9.5 was great. That's actually a good score. I would kind of be expecting, maybe around that 10 mark. I think Alex, just give yourself a bonus half, get to the 10. Test 17.5, including the bonus. Wow. Nelson 10.5. That was a tough round. It was a tough round, Nelson. I'm glad I threw some options in there. 8.5 for Ollie. 16.5. 16 from Shanti. That's a good score, Shanti. Wow. You have pushed Tess close on that. What was the answer to the Watson Cumberbatch question, Gemma? It was Cumberbatch. And in fact, it should have been, was it Cumberbatch or Freeman or Holmes or Watson, shouldn't it? I've just realised that question is actually really badly worded. I can blame someone else for that. I'm going to, I'll take that. I'll take that one. Was it Benedict Cumberbatch or Martin Freeman? It was Benedict Cumberbatch that was cast first. So Shanti and Ms. Williams, 12 out of 22. Notice she took the bonus of the Miss Williams, so it wasn't out of 23. Making sure it's kind of like over 50%. I know there's a good scientist theory. Who we got? Ollie, that was hard. It was Johnny 9.5. Gemma, what have you got now? Giving you the answer to that question. How are we doing? Because you were coming up on the rails there. I think would you end up in third maybe? So I've got Tess out in front as the winner. So that's the gold medal. I got Shanti in third, in second rather, in 16. So I've got my ones and my twos. And at the moment, it looks like Ms. Williams is in third, but I'm pretty sure Gemma's going to come through on the rails. Oh, Shanti, of course. Yeah, do you know what? I remember that from when I took, absolutely. Shanti, not Shanti. Thank you. And Gemma, 11. I think, Gemma in fourth. Miss Williams, you're on the podium. I don't think I can see anybody else above 12. Fantastic. So, winner, Tessa. Congratulations, Tessa. You've been following all the videos. You've just seen it's just raining again outside. It's just gone dark. You know, you've been following some people. So you've got a win under your belt. Huge congratulations. I'm glad this was a great week for you. Shanti in second place, coming from not quite nowhere, but brilliant stuff and great knowledge. And then third place, we've got Ms. Williams and the Williams team. And then we've got Gemma in fourth. And then some really good scores following out behind. We've got Alex getting on 9.5, Ollie on 8.5, Johnny on 9.5. If I missed anyone out, somebody was on 10.5. I'll probably pick that one up. Alex 9.5. Nelson, yeah. So really good. Well, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you had a great week. I hope you enjoyed watching the videos in the mornings. I've really enjoyed making them about Sherlock Holmes because I think he's a fantastic character. And there's so many other areas, directions that could have taken it. So I hope I kept it down to the stuff that was readable and accessible and watchable. I do enjoy watching some Sherlock Holmes, whether it's the TV series or the Basil Rathbones. And then we'll see you next week for our new topic. Thanks for joining me this evening. Have a wonderful weekend. I hope the weather picks up for you all. And keep looking after yourselves, looking after your families, and staying in touch, being kind to your friends. And hopefully I'll see you all soon. Said Master out.